We're having a conversation with the enterprise director at Airtel and would like to understand what is Airtel giving. Join me as we welcome Mr. Allan Ssemakula to the set. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm well. So what is it that we are doing in Airtel Business? Let's first understand, what does Airtel Business do?
So Airtel Business, we sort of look after the businesses, right? So any business customers today, be it on unlimited internet plans, lease lines, MPLS, postpaid services, that's basically handled by Airtel Business. But we also handle anything to do with fixed connections, not just for businesses, but for homes as well, fiber or via microwave or LTE.
Okay, that's great. So you take care of individuals as well, ultimately.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, great. And so 2 years back, Airtel introduced Flex Unlimited. And I know that the product you brought for us today will speak into that. Let's understand the journey. Where does that begin?
So actually, two years ago, what we introduced was, unlimited internet to SMEs and to homes, right? So before, this category was served mainly using either, your mobile bundles, which are fantastic, by the way, from Airtel. But we realized that, especially for the homes, with the introduction of smart TVs, online gaming, there was a need for some sort of unlimited bandwidth products that are reliable, high speed, but also affordable. And at the same time, with SMEs, also getting into the whole digital revolution, we're basically seeing their, reporting to ARA via the internet, or, have online, ERPs and things like that. So there was a need for, again, unlimited bandwidth on the internet. But again, affordability was a very big thing for them, right? So in the past, unlimited bandwidth was something for, large corporates, right? Because it was very expensive. But about 2.5 years ago, we introduced an affordable unlimited internet plan for the homes, as well for the small and medium-sized businesses. And we launched it under the brand name XStream Internet, right? So why did we call it Xstream? So X, usually, when you usually have the word X, it's usually, extraordinary, extra, things like that. And then we know that one of the primary needs for unlimited internet is the ability to stream, right? So if you're at home, you've got, large TV, you now want to, enjoy, content of Netflix or any other, over the top, providers for TV, you want to have that streaming, capability.
And so what is the innovation?
So when we started this year, those years ago, we had your basic unlimited plans, right? So we had a singular offering, whether it was fiber, whether it was microwave, or it was over LTE. The plan was the same. So you pay one plan, it's all for fixed. You pay 130,000 shillings, for example, you're getting 10 Mbps whether you're on fiber, microwave, or LTE. So we also noticed that you have, like myself or yourself, even if I have internet at home, I want to have, minutes on my phone. I want to have, data on the go, because I will not be able to carry my, my fiber connection, as I move. And also want to have the ability to send SMSs. So what we find ourselves doing is I pay for a connection at home and then pay for a separate connection for my phone. And, for people like me who've got, young families, that have got children that say, Daddy, I need data. My wife also says, can you, send me data? So we realized there was a
disconnect.
There was a disconnect somewhere, right? So we had customers that were asking for increased bandwidth, but without having to pay more, right? And we also realized, the inconvenience of paying two bills. So what we've basically done, we've created a new product. Like it's the next step to the XStream, internet experience, where we're not just increasing the bandwidth, but we are joining both best of both worlds. So now you pay one subscription.
And you service everything.
And you get an unlimited fixed connection either via fiber, microwave, or LTE. But at the same time, you also get a mobile plan that comes with minutes for your voice, whether you're calling Airtel or counter, networks, or you want to use your bundle to, go online, surf and the like, or send some SMSs. That now comes with one singular subscription. And on top of that, that mobile subscription is shareable with 4 other people.
Okay, you're moving so fast. Let's go backwards.
All right.
What is this product? XStream Flex. We are now launching XStream Flex.
Yes.
Let's talk about the product in detail, because everything you've talked about is exciting and it feels unbelievable because I have to make one payment and access all this.
Yes.
So it's giving me ease, it's giving me access, but also it's allowing me to do everything on the go.
Yes.
Let's talk about some features, the shareability. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So XStream Flex is going to come in 4 different flavors. Okay. And, the reason why we put it into 4 different flavors is we tapped into, we're looking at generation. We've just gone through a census now, and we know 80% of Uganda's population is probably younger than I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah. So, looking at that, this is, you're talking about, the younger millennials, you're talking about the Gen Zs, right? We noticed that, they consume a lot of internet or digital products.
Because we have a lot of time.
Yeah. But we know everybody's pocket is not the same.
That's true.
And the need is not all the same. Same for businesses as well, right? So it comes in 4 different flavors, okay? Where you've got the first flavor that starts off at 160,000 Uganda shillings, and it goes up to the most expensive flavor at 400,000 Uganda shillings. Now, each of these flavors has an unlimited bandwidth that is fixed and has a mobile component to it. So, for example, if I live in a zone where Airtel has fiber, okay, today, what I've been able to get from Airtel is I pay, say, for example, 130,000 shillings, which is the entry product, okay? And I get 10 Mbps of unlimited bandwidth. Yes. With the new Flex Lite, which is the entry, right? You pay 160,000 shillings.
An addition of 30,000.
30,000 shillings more. Okay. But you get up to 60 Mbps. So 6 times, 6 times the bandwidth.
Wow.
And it doesn't stop there. You will get what we call on-net minutes, okay, which is Airtel to Airtel minutes. And on top of that, you'll get data, mobile data as well. And you will get SMSs as well.
That's too much for that money. That's like a lot of combinations. Is that now different from fixed? It has turned into a combination of different things. How does that work?
You see, we've managed to do it on the back end from a technology perspective, right? But I think it aligns very well to our, delivering on our vision of, delivering in innovative, solutions that address real customer challenges, right? That doesn't just offer the connectivity, but you also get the flexibility. Affordability is also addressed, but also keeps it very simple.
And this is month on month?
Yes. So you pay 130,000 shillings. Your need at home is sorted. But when you drive to work or head out, you're heading out to the villages, you've got these mobile plans that you can get, so for example, your husband and 3 children to join your plan and use your minutes, your data, your SMSs.
Wow. I love this, the accessibility, the flexibility, but also the affordability. Let's take it to the next level. What's the other level apart from the entry?
So you start off at, and I'm talking about fiber here, but if it's wireless, you don't get as much bandwidth upgrade. In terms of the mobility plans, will be the same. Okay. But if, say, you're not in an Airtel fiber covered area, right? Maybe it's upcountry, it's in the suburbs and the like, right? So instead of getting 60 Mbps, you get 30 Mbps. And it's because, the technology sort of, varies. Fiber is unlimited capacity.
That's true.
Microwave, is fast, but not as fast as fiber, okay? So for the 160,000 plan, on fiber, you get up to 60 Mbps. On fiber, on microwave, you get up to
30. Half.
Half.
Same kind of experience?
I mean, in terms of speed, because you have
speed
more speed
and
on
experience.
fiber will definitely have better experience, especially if you're a very heavy data consumer, right?
That's true.
So the next tier moves from 160 to 200,000 Uganda shillings. Now, if you're on fiber, your bandwidth is now not 60, it is 90 Mbps.
Wow.
Up to 90 Mbps. The mobile plans you get will now introduce you to ability to call other networks.
So on the 160 plan, you don't call the other networks?
No.
Okay.
We'll charge you airtime if you did that.
Okay.
Right?
And then when you upgrade to the 200,000...
200 takes care of your Airtel to Airtel calls, your Airtel to other networks. You get, first of all, the minutes will be more than what you get on the entry plan. You'll get more data. You'll get more SMSs. So that is the second plan. Now, when you move further up, to the next tier, you pay 310,000 Uganda shillings. And for 310,000 Uganda shillings, if you're on fiber, your bandwidth plan moves up to 170 Mbps.
That's too much. Allan, that's too much.
I don't think there's anything like too much bandwidth, right?
Because I also want to get into the basics of it.
Yes.
Does this also target businesses?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, you see, this is a product that will work very well for the SME.
Okay.
Right? If you're a large corporate, this might not be the product for your business. It's probably a product for you as an individual. Right? But for your business, we've got other business plans that I think we'll also dive into on the next, edition, when we're talking about, that space. But this is a product that today is available for the homes. It's available for the SME. So on fiber, you've got 160,000 Uganda shillings, 60 Mbps with mobility plans, shareable. Then 200,000 Uganda, so on microwave or on wireless, it is, instead of 60, it is 30. Then there's a 200,000 plan on fiber, 90 Mbps with a bigger mobility bundle. On wireless, instead of 90, it's 40. Okay?
But good enough.
Yes. Then the next tier at 310,000 Uganda shillings per month. On fiber, it's 170 Mbps with increased mobility bundle. On wireless, it's only 60 Mbps. There's one last one that is not available on wireless, but is available on fiber. Now it's for the super data consumer. For example, if you got a household, you've got gamers at home, you've got a large, 75-inch TV, you want to have that, ultra HD experience, right? You need massive bandwidth. So we've also catered for that. So for 400,000 Uganda shillings, you get 300 Mbps on fiber. It's not available on wireless because we've done the research and we cannot deliver, a commitment of 60 Mbps, above 60 Mbps on wireless technology. It's only available on fiber. Now, in terms of the minutes, right? And I may not have I'm probably missing them up now, but I think on the 400,000 plan, you get 1,600 Airtel to Airtel minutes. You get 800 Airtel to other networks. So that's 2,400 minutes. You get 45 GB of data. And you get 400 SMSs. Shareable with 4 others.
You need to put people who actually know how to use the internet. Otherwise, you will never consume it.
Yes.
But that's a very good plan.
Imagine I'm going to take my kids out, down to see their roots. I'm not going to carry my unlimited plan that they're used to. I'm definitely going to share my data with them.
That's agreeable. Yeah. And I want to understand, there are so many plans right now that are all over. What makes this one unique and exciting?
I think what makes it unique is, everybody is providing, unlimited bandwidth, or there are other players that are providing only mobility plans. Today, what makes this unique is the fact that it brings both environments into one subscription. Okay? The recharge process is seamless. You dial *125#. You follow the prompts, enter your account number, charge your Airtel money, and bang.
That's it.
You're up for the next, the next 31
So even when
days.
you're on the go and they give you a call, we have run out of, that's it.
Dial *125.
So the easiness makes this unique and exciting.
Yeah.
The target audience. You've talked more about the Gen Z and the millennials, where most of us sit. Are we able to afford this? Because also there is the other generation that helps the Gen Zs to achieve this. Let's see, what was the thought process?
So the thought process is this, for example, right? I know on my mobile needs, right? For example, how much do I spend on mobile, right? So I mean, Airtel has got these fantastic, smart plan bundles, right? I'm a particularly big fan of the plan that's retailing at 60,000 Uganda shillings, right? Where I get voice, data, SMS. So I'm spending 60,000 shillings anyway. On top of that, I'm paying, for myself, I'm a heavy data user myself. I'm spending, 350,000 shillings per month on unlimited connection on fiber at home. Meaning I'm already spending a minimum of 350,000 plus 60,000, but often that 60,000 is not enough.
And that when you spend like that, it's over 400,
it's 400
which is the highest.
10,000.
Wow.
So even by just moving and saying, I will, spend 400,000, I assume somebody who doesn't work for Airtel and is like me, okay? They probably have an Airtel connection and, they probably, have a line with one of my competitors, right? And they're probably spending 450,000 shillings a month on connectivity. What this does is it helps you save that 50K.
That's the value proposition.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it's convenient. You're paying one bill.
Yes, that's key.
You're paying one bill,
yeah.
And it's only with Airtel where you're able to share those mobile resources with other loved ones, friends, family, or maybe if it's an SME, you could be, the boss with your employees. You have 4 others that you share those resources with. That is also possible, right? So it's something that is new, it is unique, right? And it is affordable. So across all the tiers, the research that we've done is you'll save a minimum of 10% per month by switching over to Flex.
So if you're watching this, it's very clear that if your goals for 2025 are about saving money, this is where you start from. Let's talk about the partnership with LG. I've visited a few homes. The massive screens in our different homes, and having such technology requires us to have also expanded things in terms of connectivity. What does this partnership with LG mean?
So what it basically means, we've talked to the LG partner in Uganda, right? And one of in terms of what they are trying to do, sort of resonates with us. Okay, it's improving lives. It's enabling connectivity. Coming into this new industrial revolution, which is entirely digital, right? So they've got smart TVs. The one thing a smart TV requires most is not the old antenna. It is an internet connection, so that you're able to stream, your favorite shows, your favorite games, straight onto that TV, right? Why not partner with a partner that seems to have the same thought in mind, right? So we've started that partnership with LG today. When you buy a TV from them, it will come with a free Flex connection. Installation cost, 0. So that's the other thing about this product. Whether it's fiber or it is wireless, if you're within our coverage, we'll take care of your installation cost.
Amazing. That's another value proposition on top of what we've already discussed.
Yes.
I think let's go into, we have known all this, and now I'm saying I'm really into it. I want to have it. What do I do? What do I need to do?
So we've got a team. We've got a big team, dedicated salespeople out in the market. We've got a social media presence, right? So you could, even if you're watching this today, and maybe you've got, you one of these people who are, new age digital, hit us up on our social media platforms. One of our teams will get in touch with you. We also have very many shops across the country. Okay, we've got hundreds of shops across the country. Walk into one of them and we'll sign you up, and we'll have the installation done within the next 24 hours.
Dial *125# or call 125 today to upgrade your internet experience. Airtel, a reason to imagine.